Good morning, everyone. My name is Juanita Pope, and I'm the CEO of the Victorian Council of Social Service. Welcome today to our event, Breaking the Energy Health Hardship Nexus, the Case for Systemic Change. We have people joining us today from all over the country who are really interested to hear about this topic. But we here are in the Melbourne office of VCOSS on the beautiful lands of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people, and I'd like to first acknowledge and pay respect to elders and ancestors of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people and thank them for their amazing custodianship of this land for millennia. I'd also like to extend that respect and acknowledgement and welcome to any First Nations people who are joining us on the call today. On this event today, I should say, not a call, an event. So let's get started. The link between energy hardship and poor health is well established, both in Australia and internationally. There's not a skerrick of doubt, and we could fill this room with surveys and research 10 times over of how these two aspects are linked. But while the link is very well established, no one has yet managed to break it. And from where VCOSS stands, this is not a wicked problem to which we have no solution. We do know the solutions. And this morning we'll hear about some of the interventions and programs that our colleagues and others in the community sector and beyond are doing to make a difference to this issue. The problem is, though, that these promising interventions tend to be exceptions or once-offs or novelties. They're pilot programs, they're one-offs, they're proof of concept. But what we need is sustained and scaled interventions. You can't make long-term change with short-term responses. And VCOSS is looking into this with a six-month program. Currently, we've done a 6-month program and we're in a 2-year extended project to catalyse action to break the energy health hardship nexus. This work is supported by Energy Consumers Australia, and our goal here today is to share with you what we've learned so far and to learn from each other and to map out what might be our next steps. Later this morning, our partners at La Trobe University, Professor Virginia Lewis and Dr. Nicholas Hunter, will take you through the findings of their literature review and system mapping exercise. And these two critical pieces of work identify opportunities for our energy and our health systems to work together to tackle energy and health hardship. Their work has been generously supported by a very esteemed group of what we're calling critical friends from across the energy, health and sustainability systems. We're very grateful for this support. So thank you to the critical friends, and we'll hear a little bit more from them, some of them later this morning. Today, we're also launching 2 key VCOSS publications. The first one is a provocations paper, which is intended to spark conversations and catalyse action. And the second paper is a more technical paper, which is essentially a companion document which steps out the provocations with more detail and with more analysis. And I'd like to take this opportunity to give a big thanks to the VCOSS team who have led this work, Emma Halloran as project coordinator and Miriam Sved, and overseen by Deb Fuster, with input obviously from our critical friends who have really brought all of this work together. Now, as for the provocations, there are 4 of them, as I mentioned. The first one is that people die from energy hardship. This is a public health calamity and it will only get worse as our climate warms. The second provocation is that if energy hardship is a health issue, then health professionals must be supported to be a part of the solution. Thirdly, Australia needs to catch up with other countries in developing large-scale, joined-up energy health responses, and then back what works with long-term funding. And finally, that access to affordable and clean energy should be framed as a right. Now, I'm mindful that for some people in the room here today and for some on the Zoom, these provocations may feel very self-evident, a little bit of a no-brainer, rather than kind of cutting-edge provocations, but context is everything. And for the system actors that we're seeking to shift here, these are genuine provocations. Saving people from dying from energy hardship. Framing this as a public health issue and a very critical one. Warning that things will get even worse as the climate warms. This provokes people in power and we may rattle some cages. And for that we say, good. We're determined that the energy hardship, health hardship nexus is recognised as a significant problem requiring urgent action and sustained attention. We're looking for no less than cultural shifts and systemic reforms that produce enduring change. To do this, we need to build an advocacy coalition that brings together energy market and health system actors to help drive this change. So we want to work with you to infuse decision makers, lawmakers, regulatory and oversight bodies and funders with this sense of urgency. So it's these 4 provocations that I encourage you to reflect on as we work through today's agenda and listen to some of our incredible lineup of speakers. To get started on that now, it is my great pleasure to introduce Caroline Valente from Energy Consumers Australia. Thank you. Thank you so much for your support for this work, Caroline, and over to you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Juanita, and the entire VCOSS team for the invitation to be here today. For those of you that may not be aware, Energy Consumers Australia is the independent national voice for residential and small business energy consumers. We conduct and fund groundbreaking research projects such as this one you're about to hear more in a second, that builds this evidence base for stronger advocacy and better energy policies to help all people across Australia. So as you were saying, Juanita, access to affordable, reliable, and clean energy is essential to keeping people healthy and enabling, enabling them to live a life with dignity. In this current context of cost of living pressures, high energy prices, and extreme weather events, we are hearing more and more about how energy hardship has those detrimental effects on people's health and well-being and leading to poor well-being outcomes. So this is why we actually see a lot of value in funding this project from VCOSS. So VCOSS and their partners are mapping and exploring those interdependencies between energy and health sectors here in Australia in a way that will be able to see a long-standing problem from new angles and different perspectives. So we've seen how fruitful and insightful these cross-sector collaborations can be. So it wasn't very long ago when very smart people from the energy and housing sectors came together to bring the housing performance of our Australian homes into the energy transition equation in the term of energy efficiency. And now it's time to bring the health sector along. So we believe that energy belongs to everyone, but what we have done to date to support consumers experiencing energy vulnerability has only been partially successful. So kids are still missing school because their moldy and damp homes are triggering asthma. Adults are working longer hours, forgoing hobbies, and eventually burning out to keep up with their energy bills. And retirees are having to deal more and more often with the heat or eat dilemma. So in this interconnected world where energy is such an integral part of our contemporary lives, there is this huge opportunity to leverage those synergies and touch points with other sectors. And this is what really excites us about this project. So allow me to pose two questions. When was the last time that you considered switching your energy retailer or electricity plan to get a better deal on your energy costs? And when did you last schedule a checkup with your GP and visited your GP? The odds are that the latter springs to mind more readily. And in fact, ECA's Energy Consumer Sentiment Survey from December 2023 indicates that only 1 in 5 households say they have switched energy retailers or plan to reduce their energy costs. In contrast, each year, almost 9 in 10 Australians visit their GP. So the journey to net zero is much broader than just the energy transition. It involves our homes, our businesses, our transport, our adaptation efforts to climate change, and it also involves our people, our health, and our collective well-being. This is, as Juanita mentioned, an urgent affordability, health, and socio-economic challenge that needs this collaborative, sustained, and ongoing response. We can leverage those trusted relationships and consolidated relationships on the health side to offer support on the energy side. And we can make it easier for health professionals to see the link between health conditions that they are seeing in their consultations and the energy hardship, and understand the assistance at hand. This project will help us develop key cross-sector collaborations and connections, and will enable us to combine those efforts to come up with innovative solutions to tackle energy hardship from multiple fronts and ensure two things. First one, that access to affordable energy promotes health, well-being, and development opportunities for everyone. In other words, as Juanita mentioned, that we truly recognize energy as a determinant of public health, a human right, and an enabler of social and economic development. And second one, that people living with chronic health conditions can use the energy they need to maintain a decent quality of life and adequate medical treatment without having to worry about paying their energy bills. We can do a lot better. In fact, we must do better, and we must do it together. So thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. And thank you.